live, and on your side. This is KTBS 3 4 o'clock News Hour on KPXJ CW21.
Well, whether you're in Shreveport, Marshall, Texarkana, Natchitoches, or anywhere in between, what you see on those tower cams right there is about how it's been all day.
It has not been a pretty day out there. It's been wet and cold across the Arklatex and throughout the region.
Well, we hope you're staying dry and warm, everyone. I'm Alex Anderson.
And I'm Brittany Breeding. Thanks for joining us. We'll begin with the latest on the yellow weather alert now in effect. Let's send it over to Patrick.
Yeah, yellow weather alert in place still for us through the evening hours because of some gusty winds and also areas of rainfall and a few thunderstorms. Powerful system moving across the southern and central plains now, bringing snowfall up through areas of Kansas and Nebraska and bringing rain down here into parts of the Arklatex. Now, we do have thunderstorms moving through. Matter of fact, one storm that is a severe storm warning there for Sabine County and also into parts of Sabine Parish. So we could have some stronger thunderstorms in and around Manny, Louisiana going on, producing winds upwards of 50+ miles an hour and maybe even some hail with it. As far as Texarkana, not too much going on right now. Things trying to quiet down a little bit. Texarkana, one area that's had rain today, but not hit quite as hard as others. There's that severe thunderstorm warning I talked about there. There's storms north of Hemphill and moving on up to the northeast. I'm watching it to see because there's a good chance, I think, that as it moves into the Arklatex, it will start to lose a little bit of its intensity. So that shows you where the bulk of the rain is. Thunderstorms, the heaviest of them, are now in the eastern parts of our area, east of Shreveport. Shreveport's going to have another round of some rain in the region, but that's going to be probably just about all, and gives you a little bit of an idea of the motion of some of that activity. So we'll watch this here to see what goes on with it. We'll talk a little bit about the timing of getting this rain out of here and your extended forecast as well coming up in a few moments.
Thanks, Patrick. Water woes over the weekend have led to a boil advisory for Marshall, Texas. KTBS 3's TW Star is in Marshall with the latest. TW?
Hey guys, no school for the kids here in Marshall, Texas. That was good news for them, but a lot of folks got some bad news over the weekend as they were dealing with low water pressure or no water pressure at all. It's been kind of a difficult time in this part of the Arklatex. I spoke with officials with the Public Works Department, also the city manager's office about the problem. They said that there was a water main break and they had crews out all weekend working very, very hard trying to fix the problem. And once they get one part of it fixed, another part would spring a leak. And so old pipes and this time of the year and cold weather, kind of the thing that we've seen happen many, many times. Now, I talked with a lot of people here today about their experience. Most of them said that they had a low water pressure. Here's a sampling from a business owner and a resident of Marshall.
Business owner downtown, you kind of have to know what's going on with the water and what's going on with the city. There was a water main break the end of last week and it affected everybody's water pressure. We're an old town, we have old infrastructure. Communication is always difficult. I am a little plugged in because I have a business, so we were very fortunate that we were not without when we got here this morning, and it didn't affect us much over the weekend. You have to be ready when those things happen, but we fared pretty well here.
Then Sunday, we went without water altogether, and still couldn't find exactly what was going on until late that night, and they've had a boil ban, on Facebook. So that was our experience, but it was just kind of upsetting that you couldn't get an answer what was going on and how long it would take.
Yeah, I did talk to some frustrated people who were trying to get answers, trying to find out what was going on. It was a little bit difficult, they tell me. The boil ban, the boil advisory is still in effect for now, but the kids will be going back to school because the water is back on. We'll send it back to you in the studio. Brittany.
Glad to hear the water is back on. Thanks, TW.
Well, authorities are searching for a person of interest in connection to a body found in a 25-foot well on the border of Arkansas and Oklahoma. Chance Cathy of Tom, Oklahoma, is wanted for questioning by the Little River County Sheriff's Office. The body has not yet been identified. Sheriff officials say they received an anonymous tip on January 2nd about the body inside of a well, and it was off County Road 106. The body has been sent to the State Crime Lab in Little Rock to determine the exact cause of death. Anyone with information about this case or Cathy's whereabouts is urged to contact the Little River County Sheriff's Office. The number to call 870-898-5115.
The transition of power continues in Louisiana. Members of the Louisiana House and Legislature were sworn in today. Philip Deviere of Eunice was named Speaker of the House. Mike Johnson of Pineville will serve as Speaker pro temp.
We heard from our Speaker, Philip Devalier, and we heard from our Speaker pro tem, Mike Johnson from Pineville. They called him the Pineville Mike Johnson, not to be confused with our congressman. And their remarks were very, very hopeful. Everybody talked about working together, working across party lines, and so I believe that we should see the fruits of that labor by the end of 2 special sessions and 1 legislative session.
On the Senate side, Cameron Henry was chosen to serve as president. Regina Barrow of Baton Rouge was elected president pro tem. Lawmakers convene again next Monday for a special session to redraw the state's congressional districts. U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson was among the dignitaries who attended the inauguration of Jeff Landry and his administration. KTBS 3's political reporter Jeff Vineforth spoke with him today about why he thought it was important to attend the ceremony.
A great day for Louisiana, a great new start, a fresh start, and we enjoyed being here with all the members of the legislature, and the state senators took their oaths today, and the House members. Great to be with Governor Jeff Landry yesterday. It's a real feeling of esprit de corps here, and we love that.
We'll have more of Jeff's interview with the Speaker coming up tonight at 6.
Well, it's a new year and a new Caddo Commission. 11 Caddo commissioners sworn in this morning. Along with the swearing in, the commission also elected new officers. 4 new commissioners joined the 7 returning. Gregory Young of District 2 is one of the new commissioners, and he expressed his hopes of addressing the crime in Caddo and enhancing opportunities for those in the community that need it most.
We got to make our community safe. That's my priority, and everything that I'll be considering as a commissioner, that's going to be my number 1 priority. Is how do we make our community safer? Or does this proposition or ordinance, does it make us safer?
The District 6 Commission seat is currently vacant. An interim rep will be appointed until a special election is held in March 23rd.
In a little more than a month, Texans will be able to start voting in one of the year's major elections.
It's Super Tuesday, and the ballot in Bowie County will feature the presidential election and several state races. The primary election day is March 5th. We go now to Texarkana, Texas, where KTBS 3's Julie Parr is live. She has more on the upcoming election. Hey, Julie.
Hey, Alex. Early voting for the primary election will be held on February 20th through March 1st, and there are 3 early voting polling locations here in Bowie County, and they include right here at the Southwest Center, the Bowie County Courthouse, and the Walnut Church of Christ. There's currently about 60,000 registered voters in Bowie County. Election Administrator Pat McCoy says they don't have any big changes this year, but they're urging everyone to make sure they're registered to vote ahead of the primary. The deadline to register is February 5th. McCoy says they're also looking for volunteers to help out on Election Day. They usually have about 120 trained volunteers that help out. On Election Day, voters can cast a ballot at any of the 25 polling locations in the county.
We expect a big turnout. Normally in Bowie County, between the 2 parties, we will have about 25 to 30,000 people out of our 60,000 registered voters that turn out, which we need more. Everybody needs to go out and vote.
And if voters must have a valid ID to cast a ballot, if no candidate receives a majority of the vote in the primary, then a runoff election will be held on May 28th. Reporting in Texarkana, Texas, Julie Parr, KTBS 3 News.
Texas is more than a dozen states holding primaries on that day. Election administrators in Bowie say they should have the sample ballot for the primary election available online by Friday.
Managing finances can be especially challenging for retirees or people who plan to retire soon. Ivan Rodriguez breaks down the changes to Social Security payments and Medicare this year and shares expert advice from AARP about how you can adjust your outlook.
U.S. inflation continued to decline in 2023, and the financial picture for Americans, including retirees, is improving. For that reason, monthly Social Security payments will only rise by 3.2% this year, based on the cost of living adjustment. AARP Senior Vice President Bill Sweeney says the boost is a bit disappointing in contrast to 2022's 8.7% increase, a 40-year high.
This is probably not enough for them to be able to feel comfortable and confident about their savings.
Another concern, standard premiums for Medicare Part B are back on the rise. The portion of Medicare that covers doctor visits and other outpatient treatment is up 6%. On the bright side, people who haven't retired yet can now sock more money away. People 50 and over can contribute up to $30,500 to a 401k or another type of deferred compensation plan this year.
That's a little bit extra money that you can put away in your retirement, which is a great way to save and get caught up before you retire.
Finally, 4 decades after Congress voted to slowly raise the full retirement age from 65 to 67, the goal close to being achieved, reaching 66 in 8 months in the final half of 2024. While you can begin collecting Social Security before age 67, your payments will be permanently reduced. On the other hand, waiting until 70 earns you a bonus.
We really urge people to think about what is the right age to start claiming Social Security to maximize how much money you can get.
Still to come in your 4 o'clock news hour, tragedy in Mississippi, a deadly accident at a deer camp that claims the life of a Louisiana teenager.
And a new warning from officials as we learn more about a bizarre mishap aboard an Alaska Airlines flight.
We're going state by state, but starting in Mississippi with a tragic accident. 6 northern Louisiana high school students caught in a deadly forest fire. The blaze broke out at a deer camp, killing 1 student and sending another to a burn unit. The others were treated for smoke inhalation. The group attended Neville High School, that's in Monroe. The school's co-superintendent is offering support to students, faculty, and the families impacted. The Mississippi State Fire Marshal says the cause of that fire is still not known. Well, Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas at the southern border today amid criticism over the handling of the migrant crisis. Secretary Mayorkas in Texas reviewing enforcement efforts as the number of illegal crossings have declined from a surge last month. According to data obtained and verified by ABC News, U.S. Border Patrol has apprehended about 3,200 migrants a day over the past week, down from nearly 11,000 in a single day last month. Tim Pulliam has the latest in Los Angeles.
In Eagle Pass, Texas, a southern border town at the center of the migrant crisis, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas meeting with border agents and local administrators for a review of their enforcement operations. The secretary's visit coming just a week after House Speaker Mike Johnson and 64 Republicans toured the area, putting election year pressure on President Biden and Democrats for tougher border restrictions. ABC's Matt Rivers is there in Eagle Pass.
Republicans are saying that this issue is because of a dereliction of duty on the part of Mayorkas. He's coming down here to say, no, we are managing this issue as best as we can, given the tools, the limited tools and the limited resources that Congress is giving them.
The Biden administration recently putting forth a budget request that includes nearly $14 billion for the border, as well as aid for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine. Items include money for more border agents and immigration judges. Some Republicans don't think the measures go far enough and demand more security changes.
If President Biden wants a supplemental spending bill focused on national security, it better begin by defending America's national security. It begins right here on our southern border.
Migrant encounters at the southern border have dropped in recent weeks after Mexico ramped up enforcement, according to U.S. authorities, allowing some ports of entry to reopen.
The House Homeland Security Committee is expected to hold its first hearing on Wednesday in its effort to impeach Secretary Mayorkas for his handling of the border. Now, a spokesperson for Mayorkas is calling this effort a baseless political exercise. Tim Pulliam, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The National Transportation Safety Board is calling for change after a 737 MAX 9 lost a door plug while in the air Friday. Chair Jennifer Homendy says its cockpit voice recorder is blank. Regulators let them automatically rewrite after 2 hours, and she says that makes it harder to learn from accidents. She also says the flight had 3 babies seated in passengers' laps. They didn't have their own seats with safety belts amid pressure so strong it ripped off headrests.
We would urge passengers to put their children under two in their own seat in a FAA-approved car seat.
She adds that investigators have found the door plug that flew off. NTSB also says Alaska Airlines planes had pressurization fail lights turn on 3 times before the accident, but it's unclear if that's what related to what happened. As for the FAA, it was working to extend cockpit voice recordings to 25 hours long before this accident.
Well, we're going to take a break now, but when we come back, did you check out the sky last night?
I didn't, but I saw tons of viewers' pictures sent in.
Yeah, and it was a SpaceX launch. It wasn't just your eyes playing tricks on you. We'll tell you what they launched and how it happened when we come back.
Plus, why NASA is going back to the moon. Keep it here to see history being made. If one of your New Year's resolutions is to slow down, take a breath, and enjoy life, or maybe take a staycation to enjoy what the Arklatex has to offer, we have the perfect place to tell you about. Robert Lewis with Heartgates Vineyard joins us now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So you guys are starting bonfire events back up. Tell us about those.
Yes, we sure are. We purchased the property back in 2012, and we wanted to be able to have an opportunity for people to be able to come out and enjoy the grounds, and be able to see the vines. And we started doing bonfire parties to give people an opportunity to be able to come out and hang out in the vineyard and just have a good time.
Awesome. That is so exciting.
Thank you.
And what did you bring here today?
Well, we have 3 wines. We have our first is our Blanc de Bois. This is a semi-sweet, similar to a Riesling. And we also took that same grape and processed it a different way. This is our dry, similar to a Sauvignon Blanc. They both have the same flavor profile of peach, pear, and honeysuckle.
Ooh.
Yeah. And this is our red cab. We weren't able to grow this grape here. We got these grapes sourced from Washington Valley up in Washington State and shipped them down in a refrigerated truck and processed them into a dry red cab.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And when people visit, do they get to do like wine tastings, get a tour? What is that like?
Yes, we can. We have our products that are available at about 30 local stores. Tony's Liquor on Line Avenue, they sell a lot of wine for us, and we really appreciate that. We are a private event space, so people can call us and schedule a private event. We do birthday parties, we do fundraisers. We also built a wedding courtyard last year.
Oh, wow.
And we have the bonfires that were very popular for us, especially right now with this time of weather. Yeah.
So how do people book those bonfires, and what all do they get with them?
They can give us a call, or they can also reach us through Facebook or on our website at heartgatesvineyard.com. And we are able to specialize a package exactly for them. And we also have a charcuterie that we offer for them, and we do a free wine tasting to be able to give them. We also take our wine and we turn it into wine jelly that I have a jar sample here. We also have pepper wine jelly and red cab jelly and Cabernet infused wine brownies that we sell at the farmers market downtown during the summertime.
Okay, that is so awesome. And
you.
How does it feel seeing the support from the community and them supporting a local business like you guys?
It's very important. We are a local business, and we thrive on the support of the local community. And it's been very appreciative of lots of people that go onto our Facebook page and they share our stories, and I always really appreciate that. And we have paid a lot of tax dollars back into the community, and we have lots of other vendors that we use in this area, so it's definitely great that we are able to give back into the community as well.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you.
And if you want to learn any more about Heartgates, just head over to our website, ktbs.com.
Okay, trying to bring you up to date what's going on in our weather. Yellow weather alert in place for today here in the Arklatex. Things should gradually be improving some as we go through the next few hours, but we still have some rain around Shreveport, Bossier City area. We also have some rain that's in the vicinity of Natchitoches and also in Marshall, Texas. So hit and miss areas of rain. That's going to continue for a little while, but I think it's going to start to move on out of here over the next few hours. Taking live looks for you outside around the Texarkana area. Marshall, Texas. It looks like visibility is reduced. Looks like got some rain coming down, hitting the good old camera lens there as we take a look at the courthouse there. Let you see that. Let's go back one thing here. The flag is waving there. I thought maybe the flag there might only be on connected one place, but no, it's two places. Gonna double check that for him. Anyway, planning forecast shows us 52 degrees at 10 o'clock tonight, 48 degrees for you at 1 a.m., 41 degrees for you at 4 a.m. for you this morning. Satellite radar imagery across the area. We are looking at rain moving across the Arklatex now, all thanks to this powerful storm system up in the mid part of the country. And it's going to continue to move east, taking the worst of the weather with it. Fortunately for us, we did not have the worst of the weather, but we did have areas of rain, and some of it was heavy at times across the Arklatex, and you can basically see that back edge of it now coming into parts of our area also. So we'll see what happens with this rain as we make our way through the rest of the evening time. But I do think it's going to start to taper on off. Still pockets of some heavier rain just on the north side of Natchitoches, stretching back towards Manny, Louisiana, and Hemphill, Texas. So that's how things are shaping up for us for right now across the area. But don't forget, we do have a wind advisory in place all the way through 6 p.m. tomorrow night because of very gusty winds across the Arklatex. The plots that you see here are our wind gust expectations as we go overnight. Overnight, the winds are probably going to be picking on up. So if tomorrow's your trash day, please make sure that trash is either heavy enough out there not to blow away, or all your private stuff's going to be all over the neighborhood. So that's just my little reminder to you as well, is you might want to wait around to the last minute to get that trash outside. Precision Cast shows those winds still 30+ miles per hour with those gusts for tomorrow. By tomorrow evening, it looks like things try to taper on off a little bit. Okay, so as far as our rain though, 8 o'clock tonight, a bulk of it's going to be out of here on off to the east of the Arklatex for us across our region. Still might have a little light rain, hit and miss that may develop overnight, but otherwise not expecting too much to be going on. Precision Cast might keep clouds around for a good part of tomorrow, but really clearing on out of here by late in the day tomorrow for us. Temperatures, well, okay, so here it is. Little chilly in the northern areas of the Arklatex, 45, 46 to Queen and Idabel, but middle 50s you get around Interstate 20, 56 in Shreveport, 59 with a thunderstorm down in Natchitoches. Low temperatures for tomorrow morning cooling off into the middle upper 30s by tomorrow morning. Now, I will say this. The cloud cover and the high winds can keep the temperatures up. So it's going to be a little interesting to see just how cool we're able to get and once we make our way on into tomorrow. Here's your 7-day forecast. 49 degrees on your Tuesday, 60 on your Wednesday, 65 Thursday. Rain moves back in by Thursday afternoon, I think. Gets out of here by Friday morning. Weekend looking colder, especially on your Saturday. And that's an update for you on your weather.
Well, if you noticed something odd moving across the sky last night, don't worry, you weren't alone. SpaceX launched 23 Starlink satellites at around 4:35 Central Time from Cape Canaveral in Florida. They used the Falcon 9 booster for the mission. Its 16th flight and includes 8 other Starlink missions. The video you're seeing now is from Scott Weaver at Circle Drive Marina in Mansfield. The ring of light you see is likely the rocket entering its second stage, taking the satellites to low Earth orbit. SpaceX is aiming to launch 144 total missions this year. We also have an historic moon mission about to get underway. It's launching off of a pad in Florida. If it all goes well, a lander and some precious cargo are expected on the moon next month. Derek Dennis has more.
And liftoff of the first United Launch Alliance Vulcan rocket.
Liftoff, some 50 years after the first American mission to the moon, a new American rocket is on its own giant leap for mankind. Launching overnight from Cape Canaveral, marking the first lunar launch from the U.S. since NASA's final Apollo mission. The brand new rocket, the Vulcan, is made by the private space company United Launch Alliance, hoping to jump into the commercial space tourism industry. If all goes according to plan, a small lunar landing will touch down on the moon on February 23rd.
They ask us as a company to buy a launch vehicle and to build a lander that can deliver their payloads, in this case science payloads, to the surface of the moon.
Rod Roddenberry, son of Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry, paying special attention to the launch, on board several experiments, and the remains of 70 people, including Roddenberry and Star Trek actress Nichelle Nichols.
He and the First Lady of Star Trek, along with a number of the other cast members from Star Trek, along with countless other prominent and wonderful people, their ashes and their DNA are going to join together and be launched out. Humanity is going where no one has gone before.
Astrobotics, the company behind the lander, warns the mission is still risky.
It is 250,000 miles away. It is in the vacuum of space. You are controlling a vehicle that you can't use a joystick with from here on Earth.
And 2024 could be the year of the lunar lander, with 5 U.S. spacecraft and at least 1 Japanese lander heading to the moon this year, with the goals of lowering the cost of moon missions and working towards getting American tourists to the moon. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
A Shreveport race car driver is making his debut in the Formula 3 scene next week. I spoke with him ahead of the big race and show you how he got into the sport.
We started out going to track days. My dad bought his first sports car and saw that instead of getting speeding tickets, he could actually go on a racetrack.
What started as a hobby, bonding father and son, has now turned into Landon becoming a highly competitive driver. The cars he drives have a lot more power.
Going 100 miles an hour through a corner, not even just on the straights, there's nothing like it. Being wheel to wheel, literally against somebody at that speed, 80, 90 miles an hour through a corner. The adrenaline rush, the experience, everything about it's just top tier.
But he can't practice in the actual car at home.
So the race car in New Zealand is actually owned by Toyota and dealt with by Toyota. So we actually don't have any access to it until we get over there.
So that's where this simulator at the paddock in Shreveport comes in handy.
You really do feel everything, the braking, the turning, all of it. It spins in 360 motion, tilts forwards, backwards, side to side.
He travels across the world to race.
So I competed in the 2023 F4 US Championship, and now I have the opportunity to move to F3.
He'll be making his Formula 3 debut January 19th in the New Zealand Formula 3 Series,
which is 5 straight weeks of racing. And then I come back to the US and to compete in the F3 Championship here.
And at 21 years old, you'd think he'd be one of the younger drivers.
Surprisingly, I'm older. So a lot of these kids actually come from karting. So they actually start racing karts when they're about 4 or 5 years old. They're on the racetrack.
Despite that, Landon is confident in his abilities and hopes to one day make it to Formula 1.
Straight ahead, the start of the 2024 election season is upon us.
The first round of voting is less than a week away. What voters need to know about this election season, details when we return.
Live and on your side, this is KTBS 3 Breaking News.
We have some breaking news coming to our newsroom just moments ago. An explosion has been reported in the Fort Worth, Texas area. It reportedly happened just before 4 this afternoon in the 800 block of Houston Street. That's in downtown Fort Worth. The location is believed to be the Sandman Signature Fort Worth Hotel. Injuries have been reported, but no details have been confirmed. This is a developing story, and of course we'll keep you posted on air and online with any updates. Again, just before 4 o'clock this afternoon, about 30 or so minutes ago, an explosion reported in downtown Fort Worth. Injuries have been reported. We will share more details as we get them.
Voters will cast the first votes of the 2024 campaign 1 week from today.
Over the weekend, the Republican candidates for president were out in force in Iowa, where caucuses are set for Monday. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more.
The countdown to the Iowa caucuses are on, and with just 1 week to go, candidates on both sides taking aim at Donald Trump as the Republican frontrunner holds on to a commanding 30-point lead. President Biden at Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina, where 9 people were killed in a 2015 racially motivated mass shooting. Biden laying out the stakes, warning about MAGA Republicans led by Trump, and pointing to January 6th in his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results.
That's not the real world. That's not democracy. That's not America. In America, we all count. In America, we witness to serve all those who, in fact, participate. And losers are taught to concede when they lose. And he's a loser.
Biden's speech interrupted by a handful of protesters calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Those chants drowned out by shouts of 4 more years.
I understand their passion. I've been quietly working with the Israeli government to get them to reduce and significantly get out of Gaza. I'm using all that I can to do it.
Back in Iowa, weather canceling campaign events for former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who's vying for number 2 alongside Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Both must convince their voters they have what it takes to beat the former president.
Pro-Trumpers don't think I love him enough. Anti-Trumpers don't think I hate him enough. For those that want me to hit Trump more, I just am not going to do it.
DeSantis vowing to stay in the race despite comments from Trump that he might drop out to back Trump instead. DeSantis says he's in it for the long haul.
We have a packed schedule, and we'll be flying from Iowa to New Hampshire after caucus.
And on the Democratic side, two long-shot candidates, Marianne Williamson and Minnesota Representative Dean Phillips, will take the debate stage today without their main contender, President Biden. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Washington.
Meantime, former President Trump wants his Georgia election subversion case thrown out. In a motion filed today, Trump's lawyer argues that he is protected from prosecution under presidential immunity. Trump's defense team insists that he was working in his official capacity as president when he allegedly undermined the 2020 election results and therefore has immunity. Tomorrow, a federal appeals court will hear arguments from Trump's lawyers and special counsel Jack Smith over this and Trump's federal election subversion case. Trump is set to attend that hearing.
Yellow weather alert does remain in place for us across the area for the remainder of the afternoon into the early evening hours. Powerful storm system moving across the southern plains, helping to bring in heavy snowfall, almost blizzard-like conditions out in parts of the panhandle of Texas, to bringing in severe storms across the coastal areas of Louisiana and Texas and on off to the east also. So the rain here in the Arklatex, it is still there going on. It does look like we're going to soon see the heaviest of the rain exiting our part of the world here. It is still hanging around parts of Sabine Parish and Natchitoches Parish, and it's going to be moving on off to the east. We have a little bit of new development back towards Dallas-Fort Worth, but this was sort of expected because most indications were we'd probably see a little bit new development of some showers, maybe a thunderstorm, but I think for the most part, the heaviest rain is getting ready to move on out and off to the east. Not a whole lot right now going on across northeast Texas and southwest areas of Arkansas. Might have a hit or miss shower. Still got a few showers and a little bit of rain across areas of the Shreveport-Bossier metro area for us. And outside right now, you can still see that it does still look a little gloomy out there with that rain coming down along I-49. So we'll watch that and watch to see what's going on elsewhere, like Natchitoches, Louisiana, with some rain around that region as well. But your forecast the next 7 days, we will take a look at it, and if it becomes an interesting forecast, we'll go over the details in a few moments.
All right, Patrick, thank you. Let's go to the Economy Watch now, where Americans' attitudes about inflation have improved. In fact, they haven't felt this good about it in 3 years. That's coming from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's December survey of Consumer Expectations Report. The survey tracked down median inflation expectations 1, 3, and 5 years ahead. All three periods showed declines. The survey also found expectations about credit access and overall financial health trended upward. But there are growing concerns about the growth of so-called insurance deserts. The Wall Street Journal says finding home or auto insurance is starting to become far more difficult, with many insurance companies booking billions in losses and then either hiking rates or threatening to yank coverage from states altogether. And after nearly 3 decades, Tiger Woods and Nike are splitting up. On social media, Woods wrote he was fortunate to work with Nike for 27 years, adding, quote, "There will certainly be another chapter." Nike responded saying, quote, "It was a hell of a round, Tiger." So far, there's no word on where Woods' next partnership might come from. Well, when we come back, it's time for Health Watch. Grammy Award winner Michael Bolton is taking a break from touring after having a brain tumor removed. We'll have the latest on his health when we come back. It's time for Health Watch now. As temperatures dip, it's important to remember that winter weather can be hazardous to our health and safety.
In recent years, death rates across the country have been 8 to 12% higher during winter months. That's according to data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Mandy Gaither has more from an emergency room physician on how to protect your health in potentially life-threatening winter weather.
From frigid air to ice and snow, cold temperatures can take a toll on our bodies.
We shunt blood flow to the central kind of core of our body in an attempt to stay warm.
Dr. Christopher Bozzoli is an emergency physician at Cleveland Clinic. He says this time of year, doctors not only see rises in ER visits for respiratory viruses as more people seek refuge inside from the cold, but also frostbite and hypothermia. Bozzoli says what you wear can help keep you safe. Protect the parts of your body most vulnerable to frostbite, like toes, fingers, nose, and ears, by dressing in warm, dry clothing.
Lots of layers, and especially the layers close to your skin. You want to have breathable fabrics if possible, especially if you're engaging in activity.
Bozzoli says a sudden change in temperature and humidity can also irritate certain medical conditions like asthma. He says to make sure you have enough medicine on hand, and if you use an electric medical device, make sure you have a way to back it up if the power goes out. He says to also be aware of how you heat your home.
We don't want to run any engine-operated equipment or gas or propane-powered heating devices indoors because of the risk of carbon monoxide.
The doctor says it's also important to check on those who are most vulnerable in frigid temperatures, especially young children and older adults.
Make sure any children younger than 1 are sleeping in warm rooms, ideally between 68 and 72 degrees. Also, if you have friends or neighbors older than 65, check on them frequently to ensure that their homes are adequately heated.
Olympian Mary Lou Retton is speaking out for the first time since her life-threatening scare last year.
In October, the gold medal winning gymnast was hospitalized with a rare form of pneumonia that left her unable to breathe on her own. Retton told NBC she is still on oxygen. She said she previously couldn't afford health insurance, but now has it thanks in part to a fundraiser set up by her daughters while she was in the hospital. Retton became a household name after the 1984 Olympics, where she won 5 medals.
And now to a health scare for a singer, Michael Bolton, revealing that his doctors found a brain tumor just days before the holidays.
It required immediate surgery. The 2-time Grammy winner shared the news on Instagram. More than 1.3 million Americans are living with a primary or secondary brain tumor today.
The tumor is located in a part of the brain that controls language. We would expect language to be impacted. Whereas if the tumor is located in a part of the brain that has more to do with movement or memory or vision, we would expect those things to be impacted.
Bolton, who is 70, plans to take a break from touring while he recovers. Well, does your New Year's resolution have something to do with getting organized?
Mine probably should.
Well, have you seen my desk?
Well, today is what the tech could be for you, Alex.
Yeah.
If you use Evernote, you may be looking for a new app to take and share notes and web links. I'm Jamie Tucker, coming up, a smartphone and computer app that may be what you're looking for.
And we are just hours away from the College Football National Championship game, the final game of the year. You're taking a live look now at NRG Stadium in Houston. The fog has actually cleared up from when we saw it an hour ago. A lot of great players getting ready for this game, and Lindsey Davis has the story of one who's overcome a lot of odds to get to this point.
Number 1 Michigan and number 2 Washington going head-to-head. And the underdog, Washington Huskies star quarterback Michael Penix Jr., leading his team to the brink of a championship.
In the end zone, touchdown!
He's overcome 2 ACL tears, a shoulder and a clavicle injury, battling through adversity to put his name on the map. After transferring to Washington from Indiana in December of 2021, he now has a new lease on his football career.
It just showed that, I can get through anything. I could persevere and push through any hardship, that comes my way.
Michael's mom, Takesha, helping him to push through it all.
Everything happens for a reason, and so just making sure that he had the family support that he needed through the tough times, and then just keeping the faith in God.
Giving him the confidence, not only in himself, but in his team's ability to win and win big.
I'm always going to believe in my guys and believe that my guys are going to be able to get the job done, no matter what, no matter who we're facing, so I'm super excited for it.
So the Washington Huskies facing the Michigan Wolverines tonight for the National Championship Trophy. It's happening at 6:30 on ESPN. And Patrick, good thing they play big-time games like this indoors, especially with the weather we've seen today.
Come on. I want to see him play this kind of thing outdoors. Okay, I get it. It's the championship. Let's talk a little bit about our weather going on across the Arklatex right now. It does continue to rain in some areas, not in all areas. Looks like the rain trying to taper off for us. 3 tower cam network across the area. Got ourselves some interesting shots there. Marshall, Texas right there. Nice little clouds, but it looks like actually we're getting some breaks in some of those clouds. And the rain, a little bit of that still coming down in the Shreveport area. This is what it looks like from our 3 tower cam there. Looking up I-49, you cannot see downtown Shreveport there. We'll watch and see what the visibilities are like overnight. And we've had some thunderstorms in the vicinity of Natchitoches where the rain is coming down a little bit. You can tell there in the distance with the flag waving. that it is also a little bit breezy. Satellite radar shows a very impressive system moving across the central part of the country, and it's bringing in the rain much as advertised. We were telling you about this weather system 1 week ago, at least, and it seems to be verifying as far as the rainfall that is bringing into our area, and you are seeing the rain move from the southwest to the northeast. Heaviest of the thunderstorms in the vicinity, like I just made mention of Natchitoches, Louisiana, and it's down into Sabine Parish, Natchitoches Parish, and I believe it will be moving to the east. But still, hit and miss little areas of showers probably going to be forming and trying to move on in. So wind advisory, that's another part of the big story here. Tonight through tomorrow, expect to have wind gusts getting upwards there of 30 plus miles per hour. These are the wind gust plots for us as we work overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Very gusty winds. Again, we hope obviously it doesn't happen, but you know what? There may not be thunderstorms going on, but we may have issues with some power issues in some areas because you never know if that could end up happening or not with those kind of winds, and you do not like seeing them because you are talking about winds that could get upwards there close to tropical storm type force winds when you get up there above 39 miles per hour. The rain moves on out of the Arklatex as we work our way tonight. Still might have some around, past midnight a little ways, but nothing too major for us going on. Temperatures look like this currently: 56 in Mansfield, 56 in Shreveport, 51 in Texarkana, 45 degrees in Idabel. Low temperatures in the morning hours in the 30s, middle to upper 30s for us. And forecast high temperatures on your, actually these are not Friday's highs there with it. Alex didn't change the graphics for me. It's not my fault, it's Alex's fault there. So we're looking at some the freezing line on up to the north. Now, this is what I want to show you real quick. This is a scenario here, but a couple of forecast models bring in a hint, maybe little frozen precip out a week away from it. But a lot can change. But I'm only bringing this up because when I went to where my wife teaches, I got bombarded with questions about this already. So, like I told them, we are still several days away from this. Let's watch and see what happens with it and if it develops or not. So there you have it. Hopefully we're watching, because if not, I'm going to have to answer it all again tomorrow for him if I drop by the school. 60 degrees on your Wednesday, 65 degrees on Thursday. Now, I am believing that I'm going to up rain chances some by late in the day on Thursday, even more so, because it does look like it tries to develop some activity for us on Thursday into early on Friday, gets out of here. Saturday, Crew of Sobek parade here for us. It's going to be cold. I think I'm going to have to try to negotiate, maybe talk to my news director, Bill, who's going to be helping out with that indoors. I'm going to be outdoors. Yeah, that's going to be one day. But I love hanging out with the folks there with the Crew of Sobek. We'll have a good time. And then we'll keep you updated on what goes on Monday. But there you have it. I wasn't forecasting highs for your Friday already. That was for tomorrow. But anyway, let's send things back over to Brittany and Alex.
Well, maybe What the Tech has some tips for Patrick on how to change his graphics to the correct day. But no, we're talking about a popular app, Evernote. It hiked prices recently, meaning more people are looking for an alternative.
Well, our consumer technology reporter, Jamie Tucker, has something to get you organized for free.
Evernote is one of those platforms that a lot of people have been using for years to take and share notes, but recently Evernote doubled its price and cut some of the features for free users. So they're looking for an alternative, and I've found one called Notion. Notion works on everything, smartphones, tablets, and computers, and will sync the documents on all of them. It looks quite a bit like Evernote, in fact, with a sidebar of folders where notes are organized. Notion calls them pages. Like Evernote, it's easy to keep things organized. Notion also has some features Evernote lacks, such as saving a note as a PDF. Pages are searchable by keyword, and you can add tags. Notion has extensions, too, for Chrome, Mac OS, and PC to quickly save links or full articles that you find on the web. A lot like ChatGPT, you can ask Notion to create to-do lists, project ideas, essays, and articles, and teams can collaborate on pages and projects. Now, for Evernote users, you can quickly import everything you've saved there, and Notion keeps the categories or files organized how you had them set up. The free version of Notion is plenty for most people, but teams might want to upgrade to a premium subscription for $120 a year. A personal pro subscription is $48 a year, about $70 cheaper than Evernote. I'm Jamie Tucker, and Notion is the app of the day.
Don't go anywhere. Patrick has a final check of the forecast after the break.
See if he gets those numbers right.
Now, KTBS 3 News continues.
East Texan and country music singer Neil McCoy has hit a major milestone on social media.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sunday marked the 2,924th consecutive day that McCoy has recited the Pledge of Allegiance on Facebook. That's 8 straight years.
8 straight years?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a long time.
It is.
If you'd like to support Neil, you can like and comment on his Facebook page.
And we're back here for the Friday high temperatures.
Yeah, we're not going to do those. I did update the graphic. But real quick, stormy conditions in Natchitoches, Louisiana. A live look from our 3-tower cam network, and you see the lightning strikes also there popping up with it. So in Natchitoches, the rain coming down. So be careful if you're going to be out and about around that part of the Arklatex. We're down the road there. It's 56 degrees over in Mansfield. Now, Marshall, Texas, it's overcast. Things are improving.
Thanks, Patrick.
It's going to do it for us here on KPXJ. Our news shifts over to Channel 3 for 5. We'll see you there.